Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank God that year is over.
I am looking forward to 2021.
As
It's
am I. Good.
very good to see you this morning.
Great to see you. Great to see you. Great to
We
be.
had a little snafu this morning with our audio, but we are live now and ready to start the show. Good morning, everybody. This is Ann Rossley. I'm here with Kyle Harvey. We are with Beard and Warner, and we're here today to talk about new construction in the new year. This is going to be a multi-part series where we talk about new construction being built in Chicago. We're going to look at buildings today that were built within the last 10 years. And then next week, we're going to talk about buildings that are currently under construction. We're going to talk about opportunities for you to buy, sell, and live in these wonderful new buildings. So Kyle, Happy New Year. It's so nice to see you.
So nice to see you. It is, it's winter in Chicago. It's going to be a cold day, but all good things for 2021.
You had a good holiday, I trust.
Huh?
You had a great holiday, I trust.
It's a 20, whatever. Yeah.
I want to share with you a wonderful experience I had last evening. A good friend of mine texted me and said, would you like to go to Zoo Lights? She had tickets, and it's limited entrance. I haven't been to Zoo Lights since my oldest son, who is now 26, was probably about 5. So it's been many, many years since I went. And we went, timed tickets, only so many in. She was telling me that on the first night of Zoo Lights, there are typically 40,000 people. They had no more than 3,000 last night. So we had almost the run of the place. It was beautiful. She said they start the Zoo Lights in August, putting them up on the trees and getting everything ready. And it was just lovely. And then we were able to sit upstairs above one of the shops, and they had these little campfires set up. And we could do s'mores and sit around the fire and be with other people that I haven't been with for the last 2 weeks. So that was really fun. So it was a great way to start the new year.
So wait. When does it end? It ends.
Last night was the last night. Yeah. So we snuck in at the end.
So here's my question. If they start stringing the lights in August, why don't they leave the lights on all year round?
I'm sure ComEd would not like that bill, but
no, you don't turn them on. You just
I think the trees grow in the spring.
Oh, right. Fine.
And then you wrap them in August when they start to go dormant, and then Anyway, quite, and it has grown significantly since I saw it 20 years ago. So it was very cool. So anyway, so that was that.
Sounds great.
Gotta love living downtown Chicago, people.
Yes. And so I've been here, and we've been gone for 2 weeks. We've been off the air for 2 weeks, but during that time, I've eaten outside 3 or 4 times.
Have you?
Oh, yeah, and it was cold.
That's the trouble.
But it was doable. I've just decided that I'm going to be Swedish, or Danish, or Norwegian.
Something Scandinavian,
Look it up and sit outside. So. Yeah.
Well, you know what? We have to make the best of this for sure. And, hopefully we'll have a very mild winter and it'll be great. So what can I say?
Exactly. And then hopefully March will come in like a lamb and go out and grab it.
Yeah, I think we're due.
Oh, yeah, we are due.
So I'll have a couple of slides for us for what's going on in the marketplace if you'd like to hear it. And let me remove there we go. All right. So we've talked about this, so I'm going to run through them very quickly. This is our marketplace. Look at the dramatic dive of properties. And I thought this was interesting that we have even fewer properties on the market today than we have had for the last 4 Januaries.
Here's my question. Whether, and I don't know the answer to this, and maybe I could go while we're talking. I bet the private market is bigger, is more full of homes than it has been in years past.
That could be. Yeah, I did not check that, but
Did you hear
I
my
think
cat?
everybody was just tired. They wanted to get off the market, right?
Maybe.
The number of closings that took place in December, look at that.
Higher.
Better December than the last 3 Decembers.
Yeah.
Properties under contract, that was lower. So I guess in October, November, more properties were going under contract, but in terms of those that actually went under contract in December, not so outstanding. But it could have been too the fact that there was nothing on the market, right?
Could have been.
People
It
might have
also
said,
could have
forget
been-
it, I'm going to wait till spring when there's more on the market. I know I have some buyers that said that.
Yeah.
And month supply of homes is way down, but that's again, I think, due to the lack of inventory. So I checked it out for various neighborhoods, and this I thought was interesting. So the Loop still has 12 months of or a year's worth of inventory on the market, even with the lower inventory.
Mhm.
The Near North, which is comprised of River North, Streeterville, Gold Coast, still has 10 months worth of inventory. And then if you go down to Lincoln Park, we're down to 4 months basically of inventory. And Westtown has 2.5 months. So they're really low in their market and their inventory. So they're poised to have a terrific spring.
But here's also the thing. For the Lincoln Park and Westtown, the last 3 or 6 months has been really hot.
Yeah.
And so when you do the month supply calculation, that's off of really revved up numbers. And
Yes.
so maybe it's, maybe we're about to become more normalized, and it'll work out. We'll see. We'll see what happens in January.
Yeah. So,
Okay. I have a cat who's lost
hello, Rufus.
out. He got the door open.
Oh,
Rufus.
for those of you who haven't met Rufus, he's quite the character, and feel free to follow him on Kyle's Instagram.
He's a monster. Anyway, so we're just gonna leave him in the room because I can't get him out.
That's fine. Rufus wants
Anyway,
to be
okay, so let's talk about the topic of new construction because
Right.
it's often really appealing to go into even some of these smaller, and that should be one of our shows. These 2 and 3 flats that are being built all over the city that are really appealing, and we can do some analysis of that. But we've decided to look at these great, big, fantastic developments, and shut up. And what they've done over the past 10 years today. That's today's topic. And it's really interesting because we're about to deliver some huge buildings, and those buildings are trying to sell right now. And taking a look at how these other buildings were delivered. And interestingly, they were delivered right after the last downturn.
The ones we're going to talk about today,
The
right?
ones we're going to talk about today were built and delivered and selling coming out of the last downturn. So they should be, or they may be, very instructive to how these buildings, the former Vista Tower, St. Regis, One Chicago, how they will do in this market that's coming up. So,
Before we get into that, I want to talk to a little bit about when I was first in real estate, 87, 88, 89. We had a big craziness around that time. And a lot of development was going on. Lakeview got very hot at that time. And during that time, it was a whole different ballgame in terms of new construction. When you went into new construction, you viewed it as a bit of a risk because you didn't know how well the development would turn out. And to compensate for that risk, the developer would give you intro pricing. So if the pricing was here, you could get in at this level down here and then enjoy the appreciation up to market and then see it go up. So Tom and I bought a couple times, actually in Dearborn Park, 801 Plymouth and then 1160 Plymouth. And we got some very good deals coming in, and we did very well in the marketplace. That is not the way developers are marketing their properties today. Today, their shtick is, here's a new building. It's higher than what you can buy in the resale market, but you get everything brand new. And I guess the point is everybody assumes the development will do okay. So you don't necessarily get the best pricing coming in, and you may see a dip after you buy, almost like a car.
So I was not active in that time. Is the pitch now from developers that you get to pick the finishes? Is that the difference? Before, when you were buying into, let's say, Dearborn Park, you got introductory prices, but you got what they were delivering, versus pick your own?
You still have limited choices, but you're right. The thing today is you get high-end finishes, top of the line, quote unquote. You get the latest and greatest, and versus buying regular housing stock out there, which is dated most of the time.
Yeah, and
it's like the shiny new penny.
So when did that start to switch, Anne? When did it switch from introductory pricing to the way it is now?
That's a good question. Well, I remember Museum Park, when they were going up, that was still shiny new penny pitch. So I would say, and maybe a lot of the turnaround was like in 2004-05, when people were just, I got to get in. The housing market's hot. So maybe that was when it switched. I'll have to do more research and ask around.
I don't know. And maybe it has something to do with the financing by these developers. I don't know. I just don't know. What's interesting is, and I've been watching Rennell, for example. 405 Wabash.
403 Wabash.
Isn't 3 Trump?
1's Trump.
Okay. 403. And they're pricing it, you now get a discount.
Right, because they're trying to close out the remaining units. Yep.
Yeah. So maybe what it's sort of telling us is, you might not get the key unit with the world's best view, but you'll do a lot better if you see what's left.
Right.
So interesting.
So anyway, today we're going to talk about the Ritz. We're going to talk about 2550. We're going to talk about Trump, and we're going to talk about the legacy at Millennium Park.
Yeah.
Want to start with the Ritz?
Sure. I am going to pull, for God's sake, cancel. I'm going to share screen. So the Ritz Carlton residences are just a really interesting development. So I'm going to make that, see, look at, I made it pretty red. I'm going to blast through here. Okay, Ritz Carlton. It's on the corner of Erie and Michigan Avenue, and
118 East Erie.
118 East Erie, across from the Super Starbucks. It is, I don't know who got the idea, but the real gist of it happened when the Terra Museum decided to move out of that handsome building at the corner, and developers came together in about 2004, 2005 during the rah-rah days of real estate. This is when the market was building up, and we still aren't at 2007 pricing. So, I mean, it was a very hot time to do beautiful properties, beautiful condos. And the thing is about the Ritz-Carlton residences, they started having lawsuits right away. The first developers fell out with each other on developing pricing. There were just myriad problems. There were problems with the Terra Museum. There were problems with the the alleyway. The developers had to finally sue the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, which has the building to the west, because they blocked the alley and made it. They caused the developers to incur like $80 million more of construction costs because they wouldn't give them access to the alley. So it was a really tricky process, and it took 8 years to deliver it. So
we also removed the facade from the lower buildings, right? So that they could maintain that beautiful historic structure. So that was also part of the tricky development.
And that was to get around landmark. They were talking about trying to landmark those buildings, and they said, wait. We'll keep the facade. We'll gut it out and we'll keep the facade. Something that's done a lot in Europe, and they decided to do that here. So it's 40 stories, but look at it. It's 89 condos.
Very boutique, very boutique.
Very boutique. Interestingly, there have been 97 sales since completion, and a bunch have been resales. And they run from $690,000 for a one bedroom to $8.63 million for an unfinished penthouse. Now, the penthouse had some lawsuits associated. There was a lawsuit about one of the buyers decided that she did not want to ride an elevator with a pet, a dog. And so she wanted dog-free elevators and sued the building, and the building won that lawsuit. But I mean, the whole thing was just crazy people. So, not crazy, but you know what I'm saying. Lawsuit enthusiasts. So interestingly, in 2020, there have only been 3 sales in 118. And look at that number. 79% of the last sale price was the sale price of these units on average, 79%.
But don't you think in part they shot themselves in the foot? I mean, this building is for people who want high-end service, like the Ritz, brand. So they built the building to brand, but with that comes a high assessment. And I don't know if people, even high-end wealthy people, really always want to pay those high-end assessments, particularly if it's a second or third property that they're owning.
Well, yes. And a lot of these apartments are small.
Yeah.
They are, there are not many per floor, but the 3 bedrooms aren't huge.
No.
The 2 bedrooms are small. The 1 bedrooms are a nice size for a 1 bedroom, but do you really want to pay all that pricing for all of this? And now we're looking now at the amenities list. This is more amenities than I could use, and I am high.
You're high maintenance.
High maintenance.
I'm teasing you.
I know, but and I've seen it, and it is just as pretty as that picture shows it to me.
Oh, and more so. It's lovely. Absolutely.
It is lovely, and they have staff up the wazoo. It is a gorgeous building, but they're very high assessments. Now, for when we looked at the pricing before, if you look at this, the 1 bedroom is down to $675. One's on the market for $675. That's below the lowest price of $690, and it's not selling. And 1.85 million for a 3 bedroom with all of those amenities. And
Alexa's talking to me. Alexa.
We got a lot.
Wait. She's never done that.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
So this is a building that is beautiful in a wonderful location. It just has not lived up to its promise. And some of it was the timing.
Right.
Some of it was a bunch of other factors, a lot of disputes around it. And some of it is, they've spent a lot of money on making on the common areas and the services, but haven't really addressed what's important, which is space, etc. But the finishes
Well, and the floor plans.
Yeah.
I just want to say this. I mean, if you are looking toward the front down Michigan Avenue, there are lovely views out of these units, but not everybody wants their kitchen tucked back. This is not your typical open kitchen, dining room, great room situation. They're lovely sized kitchens. They're beautiful kitchens, but they're set back and separate from the rest of the living area. And that's not a floor plan that most people want these days.
Yeah. So that's the Ritz-Carlton residence. What have you got?
Okay. Let's see. What should we talk about now? You want to talk about Trump, or do you want to talk about Millennium Park?
Millennium Park.
Legacy.
Let's talk about Trump, because there's a lot of data on Trump.
Okay. All right. So I love this little picture here. Trump started in 2005, topped out in 2009. It's 98 stories, 1,380 feet tall. What's funny about it is the building itself is shorter than the Hancock, but this picture doesn't show it, but its antenna goes up so high that it beats out the Hancock because he wanted to have the highest building. 339 guest hotel rooms and 486 condominiums. This is one of those structures where it has condominium hotel rooms as well as just straight up condominiums. Now,
do they also have, because I saw that that about 230 of those hotel rooms are condo hotel rooms, but not all of them are.
That is correct. Not all of them are.
Okay.
Here are two different shots of the hotel.
Ooh.
It makes quite an impression on the Chicago skyscraper landscape. And it's located right here on the Chicago River where the old Sun-Times building was, which I personally miss. This is a picture that I took a few years ago. You can see Trump Tower here with the Wrigley building behind it. So here's how it lays out. 3rd through the 12th floor, lobbies, retail space, and parking garage. 14th is mezzanine, health club, and spa. The 16th floor was the 16 restaurant where you had this terrace with magnificent views down the river. 17 through 27 were the hotel condos and executive lounges, and 28 through 89 were the condominiums. So if by chance you're looking on a search engine and you see a property at 401 Wabash, here's the trick. If it's a 4-digit number, it's one of the condo hotel units. If it has a number with a letter after it, then it's a regular condominium unit. And obviously, if you're on the 27th floor or lower. So like here's a condominium unit currently for sale. And I'll just talk about this one quickly. 1,067 square feet, purchased for $737 in 2008. This is a condo hotel unit for sale for $737. Now, the funny part is they bought it for $737. It's for sale today for $550. So for a $220,000 loss. The assessments are $3,757. If this were a condominium unit, the assessments would be more like $1,500. So very different in the assessments. The taxes, however, are $10,000. If it were a condominium unit, the taxes would be twice that. So that's kind of the difference between the two. And this is what the unit looks like. Oh, the other funny thing is, if you want to sell your condominium hotel unit, you can only show it 1 hour per week so as not to disturb the hotel guests. And this is what the floor plan looks like. Okay, so this is what a typical condominium looks like. 47G, 2,754 square feet for $2,080,000. Let's see, I'm going to scoot past this a little bit and get you down. Here's what I show it did over time. There are currently 32 units for sale. These are condominium only, not condominium hotel. averaging $767 per square foot. 2008, 13 sold for $764 per square foot, but in 2020, only 20 sold for $566 per square foot. So it's significantly gone down in value. Is that kind of what you showed?
I showed, yes, I showed that in 2020, condos sold at 89% on average of their last sale price. So I did a different assessment. I looked at how they did. Some sold last sold in 2017. Some were original buyers selling. There were a couple that sold over their asking price because they'd invested a lot in remodeling. The ones that had sort of original finishes were selling sort of as an original property. They sold much lower. So it balanced out to 89%. So yeah, it's down.
I just wanted to show you this. Highest sale in the building, $17 million. It was actually listed for $32 million. It sold in 2014, raw space, 14,000 square feet. And the assessment is $13,000 per month. And you can see from here, you can look right over, almost straight at the Willis Tower. I thought that was kind of fun. And that is the view east to Lake Michigan. It's absolutely, the views from here are fantastic. But, as you can see, for $1 million here, you're getting a straight up kitchen. This unit, let's see, which one is this? This unit, $32K. 2 bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,000 square feet. So like your basic unit, again, lovely. But in 2009, it was purchased for $2,000,001 or $1,040 per square foot.
Yeah.
2020 sold for $1,175 or $570 per square foot.
And here's also an interesting thing. The Trump Organization has not sold out of the units in this building. There are still original properties that are on the market to sell. They still have a bunch in inventory. There are 34 units on the market right now. And if you think about it, you've got a buyer would have all the leverage in trying to sell this. So, or trying to buy it. So that it's got a lot of amenities. We've talked about, well, let's talk about some of the amenities. There is a health club and spa. They've got personal trainers. They've got restaurants, on-site hotels. How did that pop up? Holy moly. Was I always sharing my screen? Good work.
No, you just hit it and I brought you right in.
Woo! So, and it will again have restaurants. Right now, nobody has restaurants.
Right.
But it's a building with a lot of beautiful amenities. It has not achieved the retail dreams of the Trump Organization. And, who knows whether it will. One of the tricky things, I think once the Riverwalk becomes a real robust area, then the retail space at Trump Tower will become more. But
it's lower level and people just don't go there from the street level. You have to be at the Riverwalk level to access it. And really,
Riverwalk is a bigger thing.
Yeah.
I think maybe they'll be able to sell some.
Yeah,
that's
right.
So that's Trump Tower. Excellent.
Good. Want to talk about the Legacy at Millennium Park?
Legacy, which I was surprised by how well Legacy is doing. So let's talk about Legacy, because Legacy is in the loop, which you have said, and you have shown us week after week, how poorly the loop is doing with market time right now during this period. So I was very impressed by what was going on with Legacy. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
What have you got? There we go. Oh, me. Okay, so Legacy was built, delivered the same time as Trump, 2009. It is a very tall building, 72 stories, and they were. It was actually a really challenging and creative development. They bought the air rights from the University Club in exchange for some of the ability to build on their building. In exchange for giving over some space to the University Club and to really create this
synergy. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
355 condos. Remember, when you have a lot of units, you pay less in assessments, so that's a good thing. The floor plans grow larger as you rise in the building. So the 1-bedrooms are on the lower floors, and the 3, 4, 5 bedrooms are above. Another great thing that has happened a lot with properties right along Michigan Avenue and Wabash is they've incorporated historic storefronts, sort of like the Ritz-Carlton we talked about.
Right.
And so you really have it doesn't overwhelm the neighborhood. So
Right.
you don't really see the legacy except from far away, which is sort of great. And it lends a sense of privacy. So it's much more dramatic from far away. In 2020, so 2020 has been a challenging year.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the condos sold at 94% of their last sale price, and some sold significantly above. Most sales were by original buyers, so people who bought in 2009. To sell at 94%, really good. And several sold for above their original price.
Right.
22 units are for sale, from $2.6 million for a 3-bedroom to just under $450 for a 1-bedroom. And the average days on market is only 170.
Yeah.
So 170 is how many months? Just under 6 months.
Yeah.
Considering how tough the data shows the loop being, it's doing pretty well.
It's doing pretty well. However, let me say this: when a development hits, not every sale is listed in the MLS, as you know, Kyle. But just for our viewers, some are sold in-house through the developer sales, which we'll talk about that in another episode about why you need a real estate agent to represent you when you buy new construction. But my point is this: in 2010, 56 units sold through the MLS. $661 per square foot was the number in 2010. Okay. That's actually pretty good. 2011 is when we had our low point in pricing after the 2008 crash. So that was really good at 661. Mark that to 2017, where the average price in the building was 582, and the average price in 2020 was 563. Granted, that's an average price. It's not a median price, nor is it reflective of the highs and the lows and the whatevers. But just to give you a sense, in general, they didn't sell for as much per square foot as they did in 2010. That said, there are some beautiful units at higher price per square foot numbers available in the building.
Well, I also wonder, and I've not shown a unit in 60. I've been in 60, but I have not shown a unit. 10 years, and these would be selling after 10 years. A unit needs to be upgraded, and a lot of the ones, at least that I've seen through broker tours, etc., have been not upgraded and worn. And so you're going to get less per square foot, just as you talked about at the start, and you're getting brand new pricing for you're moving into a brand new unit. And so to say, I'm not going to make money on a unit that's built that's really not been polished and beautiful. Go ahead.
Right. Well, I just want to show a few of the amenities in the building, and then we'll show what a typical unit looks like. This is the community room. They have 2 community rooms in the building.
Beautiful. Look at how those wonderful 2-story ceilings.
Fitness room. Whirlpool. But look at the view from the whirlpool. Isn't that lovely? Lap pool.
Yeah.
And here's an example of the views. I mean, you're overlooking Millennium Park. And, gorgeous.
Part of why it's sold so well originally is Millennium Park.
Yeah.
And the promise of Millennium Park coming to fruition. Millennium Park everyone always talked it up, but it really exceeded its promise in terms of beauty, usefulness, uptake by the city. It's a real treasure of the city of Chicago.
You brought this up, and that's why I wanted to show. Here's a typical unit here, $720,000 on the market now. 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And you can see these were, you know, the floors, the cabinets. That's the look of when it was delivered. The granite. Nice.
And those colors are, you know, no one does a cherry wood anymore.
Right, right. So, and it's in the 700s. So that's why those types of units are selling at a lesser cost per square foot basis. But now look at 5901, 3-bedroom, 3-bath for $1,675,000. Look at those views.
Oh, look at that view.
Isn't that stunning? Okay, again, though, you've got the, you know, but they've got it upgraded. Their bedrooms in this building are small. There's an older. Okay, now I thought this was fun. 6801, same tier, higher floor. But look what happens when you change the floor color and you add some pretty upgrades.
Yeah.
All of us, you know, now that one was,
kitchen, yep.
yeah, upgraded kitchen. It has a whole different feel to it. So here, so that's the sales history I was talking about.
Yeah.
So, okay.
All righty. You have
So
anything?
that's it.
That's it? So
Anything
good.
else you wanted to say about the legacy before we go?
No.
Okay. Well, that's it. We were going to talk about 2550, but we are out of time.
It was so good to see you.
It's good to be back in the groove, isn't it?
Yeah.
2021 is going to be a great year. So everyone, thanks for watching. If you have questions about real estate in Chicago, please get in touch with us. You know how to find us at Kyle Harvey Shy and at Ann Rossley. And you see us on Facebook, so get in touch. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Take care, everybody.